Most of us can be triggered by other people's opinions, judgments. This is built into us. Shaming is one of the most powerful negative experiences that someone can have. Human beings take many years to be able to survive on our own. Because of this, we rely very heavily on our parents, caregivers, community, our peers as we get a bit older. Shaming is meant to be used to correct behavior. It's meant to be used in a context of community and attachment and connection, where we really understand when we're being shamed that it's a behavior, it's not who we are. Shame on you is often the way it works in our culture. We have a lack of attachment. We don't have sufficient connection with the people shaming us to weather the storm, and we internalize it. We believe that there's something really wrong with us. We have these core deficiency beliefs of, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I don't count, I'm not safe, I'm not smart enough. The root of all of these beliefs is in the experience that we've had where we haven't been connected enough. Shaming is a powerful hard stop. It's meant to be used to stop people from doing a behavior that would get them kicked out of the tribe. And when we're kicked out of the tribe, we die. We can't survive on our own. That is more clear when we look at several thousand years ago. One person on their own didn't have much of a chance of survival. Now it is more possible to physically survive, and yet the studies that are coming out are indicating that loneliness is the new smoking. People without sufficient connections don't have as healthy of a life, a meaningful life, a happy life. Part of the remedy for that is to work on our core deficiency beliefs. The Boomerang inquiry and the panorama inquiry are two ways that we can look to see what is it that someone else is reflecting back to us about us. If you bring to mind a face of somebody who's shamed you, what is your experience with that? Can you feel that somewhere in your body? Are you tightening up? Maybe you're moving into the posture of shame. It's a slumped folding in on ourselves. Sit up straight for a moment, let your shoulders come back and down, and take a few deep breaths. Bring your eyes back up. This simple example shows us the power of shame. And when it's done in a group, it's a close relative to bullying, which can be done individually or in a group. As teenagers move through those years of developing independence from the family, becoming more peer-oriented, this is especially threatening. Exclusion from the peer group is devastating. The Boomerang inquiry has a look at, what does this reflect back about me? So if you bring up that image of someone who has judged you, who has said things that are harsh or demeaning, who's ridiculed you, bring up those words, have a look at them, hear the sounds. Imagine that you're seeing those words in your mind's eye. Same with images. Notice the colors and shapes. This is an image of something. And what does it reflect back about you, about who you are? We can do the same with the panorama inquiry, where we might put a group of people in a circle of chairs, and as we go around and we look at their faces, maybe we hear words that they've said. What does that reflect back about me? No question that these are difficult. Part of the reason is that as children especially, we don't have any defenses against believing what our experience tells us is true. If we had the experience of emotional neglect and of not being connected, of not feeling safe with our parents, our caregivers, within a family, then we developed a belief that we weren't worthy of that. Working with core deficiency beliefs is powerful. Mindfulness practices can open up this area for us. We can begin to discover what it is that triggers us. That look on our new boss's face might remind us of the look on someone else's face when they were berating us. What's happening in the present moment lands harder because of what has happened in the past. Tapping, tracing, working with the tools of the living inquiries are effective to release these old beliefs so that we can meet each other new. With post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, one of the flags for that is that it becomes super important what other people think about us. Judgments by other people really land hard. One of the markers for healing is that comes back into a more accurate place in our lives. We're able to stop when we see that happening. We see that look. We tune into our breath. We notice what's happening in our mind, our body. We use the tools that we have to accurately assess what's going on. There may be a behavior that we need to change in order to fit in with the group. We may decide to do that or we might not. With awareness, it becomes a better decision. We have more ease in our life because we're not so reactive.